teacher in UPSC CAC field, Madhusudan Sharma sir. If I'll talk about his contribution and achievement, I might end up taking all the time. So here is a brief introduction about this sir. Sir is an alumni of IIT Kanpur. He also worked with NABARD as officer. He appeared in UPSC CSC interview 3 times. Also, sir has been a part of many esteemed organizations such as Vaji Raman Ravi IAS. Kalam IAS also worked as a senior faculty at Study IQ. I heartfully welcome you, sir, in our today's. I heartfully welcome you, sir, in Sambhavam IAS, and we are very delighted to have you as a teacher. Further, I'd like to proceed the class with a positive thought that says, attitude is the little thing that makes the big difference. So, friends, your attitude towards your studies, your goal, will decide your success. Thank you, and I'd request Sir to please take over from here.
Thank you very much, Vansika, for so many kind words about me. And the quotation is really, really very important for everyone. So I would start from there only, where Vansika has left. It's the attitude which matters the most. And when we study economics, in economics, there is nothing new. So if you have the attitude that I know economics and I can understand it very well, if you apply your thought, you will understand it. You must have, whatever I will teach only those things that you must have witnessed in your life. Like on the screen, you are seeing the images of so many Gandhiji, and we are all fascinated by this Gandhiji on pink color notes or green color notes or any such thing. Okay, since birth we are doing this, and this is economics. Economics means money. So let me add a bit to what Vansika has added. She has erroneously counted me as an alumni of Kanpur. I am from IIT Kharagpur, which is the oldest IIT, and both starts from K, so that's why there might be some confusion. And I also teach polity, but with you, my assignment is limited to economics in this current seat. And I would like to know from you people, what all have you already studied? Because see, in UPSC, all the subjects have some or other linkages with each other. So if I know what all things you already know, I might be referring those things in my lecture. So please tell me, what are the things that you already know? What are the subjects that you have already studied? Modern history, okay. Polity, history, geography. Okay, quite a few. Polity, geography, history, modern history, polity, geography. Fair enough. So, like most of there are 4 important foundation of GS, and you have already studied 3. I am going to take you through the 4th one. Okay. A bit of introduction of you people as well. I would like. I'm getting your name, so no need to
Sorry, you are
write.
disconnected.
Pardon?
No, sir. You may continue.
So what I would request you people to tell something about your background. Like, are you from the arts background or from science background or something like that? Whatever you want to tell. Are you still in college? You have completed your graduation. So that I get a idea of the audience. And if you already have studied economics, please let me know that as well. Engineering, Anjali, science, mostly science, a few arts, commerce as well. Commerce people must have studied economics. Yeah. Okay, for those people who are from the engineering background, for them economics must be a completely new thing. So our basic job standard would be, if those people are able to understand the things, from there we would assume that everyone has understood. Okay, so that would be my assumption. I have completed my a lot many chat are going on. I'm not able to read all of them, but I have got a fair idea of the composition of the class. चलो. So let's start with what is economics, and as I have already said, it is something which you notice in day-to-day life. It is something which Mastercard has said in its ad. There are something that money can't buy. For everything else, there is Mastercard, and our area of interest is everything else. The things that money can buy, everything that is exchanged in the market. In market, there is one more thing. I will tell you how I go about the studies as well. In our class, I would mostly tell you that these are the things which are important that you have to make note. At times, I would dictate you as well that these are the definition, these are the keywords that you have to note. At times, it would be obvious from the writing on the board that these are the things that you have to note. And at times, I would also say you that these are just for the example purposes, you need not note. But all those things which you think are important, you should keep noting them on your own as well. In today class is about introductory class, so how you have to prepare economics, that's our focus area. And for I have kept one slide on how to make notes as well. So after that slide, you have to start making notes. These are some of the things that you have to only understand. So just sit back and relax. This is our subject matter, that everything that can be bought by money. So like in the market, you go, you buy things. So whatever you goes in that market, there is some seller, there is some buyer, someone wants to spend money, someone wants to earn that money. What is the mechanism that both people undergo, that they come at one particular price? There is bargaining at some places, there is no bargaining at some places. And then sometimes prices rise, sometimes prices go down. Why they go up and why they go down? And we have already seen this. If I ask any one of you about these things, are you aware? Have you witnessed this? That few months ago, the tomato prices went 100, probably is on the lesser side. It was somewhere around 180. Yes, few are saying it has gone around 180, 200 in some cities as well. Why? If I ask you, what was the reason why tomato prices went up? Less availability, someone is saying. There is some problem in the Zoom. Probably I will get accustomed a little bit in a little time. I'm not able to read the names. Short supply, Kunal is saying. Less supply, shortage. Okay, so this is simple. Demand and supply. All of you probably have observed it. Sir, because the tomatoes were less in supply, so that's why their prices went up. Now, someone will very sophistically come and say that there is a law of demand. There is a law of supply. No need to note it down. We will study these laws separately in one of the classes. I'm just giving you an introduction. So the things that we have been observing throughout our life would be put in something like someone is saying market forces. Some smart fellow will come and say that there is an invisible hand of market. So what we have to do in these classes is only to understand whatever phenomena we have studied is related to whichever term. So this correlation is something that we have to understand. We don't have to study any new thing. Like we shall be, yes, you are right. Someone is saying Adam Smith, Harshit, you are right. Intentionally, I'm not taking those names. You must have seen what happened after this. Like after this, McDonald's removed tomato from its burger. Why did McDonald's do that? What was the motive of McDonald's? Why it wanted to reduce the quality of its burger? To make profit? Yes, you are right. To maximize profit. And how are they going to maximize the profit? By reducing cost. Bilkul sahi, Prachi. They are going to reduce cost. What is profit? Profit is income minus expenditure. We have studied it in mathematics probably. They are saying that our expenditure has gone up because of increased cost of tomato. So we have to reduce this expenditure. So to reduce the expenditure, what they did is they removed tomato from their burger. And someone is even more smarter than McDonald's. Someone said that now it's time to steal tomatoes. Now we are not going to, stealing ATM money is risky. Stealing tomato may be easier. So people have adopted new businesses as well because of this change in economic scenario. So this is one example. Other people, you might have seen people changing their businesses. So how economy changes? This is like people are adopting new businesses. You are adopting new way of reading the things. Like, so why and how these decisions are being made? This is the subject matter of our economy. For example, you have also taken a conscious decision that you have to study from Sambhavam IAS. A lot of economic analysis must have gone into it. How much is the expenditure? How much is the return? And there is one thing called return on investment. In short, ROI. On daily basis, you do this calculation, return on investment. You invest money, you invest your time in whatever things, like you go to watch movie and you calculate that 3 hours was wasted. The money, the movie was on the same plot, which a lot many movies have been made. There is no ROI, very less ROI. You study from particular subject and you say that, studying economics has very high ROI because a lot many questions are asked in the exam. Now, in economics terms, someone will say that if you have invested some money, how much money you are getting back? If you have invested 100 rupees in bank and you are getting 102 rupees in return, your ROI is only 2%. Whereas if some other bank is giving 108 rupees, then ROI is more. So rather you should invest there. These things we have been doing since ages. So one more thing before coming to the proper definition of economics, I would rather say that all these ROI, all these decisions have one thing in common. The one common reason behind all this decision is that there is limited supply of resources. Whatever resources are there around us, they are all in a limited supply, whether it is tomato or potato or any mineral or crude oil or anything. Everything is in limited supply. Their availability is limited. Whereas if we ask for its demand or our need, it is unlimited. We have ample ways of consuming those things. So there is this mismatch. If supply is limited and their demand is unlimited, there has to go some rational application of mind to decide who will get and who will not get. And what is that logic? How we are going to decide who will get some goods and services and who will not get? This is the subject matter of economics. Okay, so now we shall note down the definition of economics. So this is something that you have to note. It is that branch of social science. It is a branch of social science under which production, for example, if we just take the example of tomato only, the production of tomato, its distribution, its exchange, and consumption are studied. Okay, so it's a branch of social science. First thing you should make it clear, it's not science, it's social science, and in which We study four things: production, distribution, exchange, consumption. See, production, in case of our current example of tomato, production is done by farmers. In India, you might have seen that the Bangalore or Karnataka is the region where the tomato production happens in maximum quantity. Whereas distribution, like Karnataka, it is being produced, but the consumption is happening all over India, or most of the consumption is happening in those metro regions. So it has to reach those metro areas. So this is called distribution. After production, reaching till consumers. But then only reaching till Delhi is not enough. It should reach till my plate. And how will it reach to my plate? Only when I give money to the person who is having these tomatoes. Okay, so there will an exchange happen between me and that vegetable seller. I will give him money, he will give me tomato. And after that, the consumption will happen. Even this can happen, like it is often said, when certain goods are in limited quantity, few members of the family will get it and few will not get it. Usually it happens that women are the last one to consume any such luxury goods, whereas men are given preference. So whether men and women all are consuming or not these goods and services, this complete cycle is our subject matter. Sudha Karan is saying return is profit, sir. In a way, yes. Return is how much you are getting. Like if you are giving something, you are investing something, 100 rupees you are investing, 100 rupees you are supposed to get. So any additional income that you are having, you are getting apart from that investment, this additional income is your return. In normal terms, it is profit as well, but sometimes it could be different from profit as well. Okay, for example, let's leave that. अभी के लिए मानो, for the time being, you consider it that return and profit are synonyms. Sometimes in some specific scenario, they could have different meaning. But for us, it is same. Now, in Earth, like the Hindi meaning of economics is Earth Shastra. This is different from the Earth Shastra by Kautilya. The Earth Shastra, which was written by Kautilya, or who is also known as Chanakya, is a book on administration. Is more about the administration, but the literal meaning of economics in Hindi is Earth Shastra, and it has two words: earth. Earth means wealth, and Shastra means a study of wealth. Shastra means book. So Earth Shastra means the study of wealth. So literally, we are going to study how the wealth is produced, how the wealth is distributed, how it is exchanged, how different goods and services are consumed by this wealth. All these things are our subject matter. Is it clear? Or if anyone has any doubt? Yes, Nikhil is also pointing it out, very right, that we do the cost benefit analysis in taking every decision, whether you are buying a shoe, whether you are buying on Amazon, you will do this comparison. This is nothing but cost benefit analysis. Sometimes you might have decided, like few days or maybe few months ago, I decided that those offers which are given by Google Pay, whenever you make a payment, you get a scratch card and you scratch it, Google Pay will give you some offer. I decided that the return on investment is very low, very poor. You will get 2 rupees, 3 rupees, or even like you will get some useless coupon. So I decided that I am not going to scratch any of those because it is not worth my time or worth the mental peace that I will apply before that. Yeah, better luck next time. So these are the things that we are doing all the time. Okay. will this PPT be given to you people? Yes, I will share it with you people. You will get the PPT, but I would advise you people not to be a passive listener. Even though the PPT would be provided to you, I would request you people to keep noting things. The next agenda of the class is this only, how to make notes. So I strongly advise that in our terms, it is said, have you listened the Satyanarayan Bhagwan ki katha? So there you simply sit by folded hand, keep listening, and in the end, they say that iti Sri Devakhande Saptamo Adhyaya Samapte, and you simply complete कि आपकी पूजा हो गई. You have done nothing. All the worshipping act is being done by the priest. You are doing nothing. So I would say that you don't have to be that person. You have to be an active participant in the class. You have to reply to my doubts, and many of you I can see are sitting in front, probably using laptop, and a few of you, as I can see from the video, are using mobile phone as well. I would say if you have laptop or desktop, sit in front of the laptop or desktop, because in that case you can ask your doubt, you can reply to my queries. At times I will ask certain things and you have to reply that to me as well. So we will try to keep our class engaging, and if you are active participant, then your learning would be more. And when you have to make notes, what you should do is you should make note on 2/3 of page. Suppose this is the page. From your own approximation, leave this 1/3 blank. Make note on this 2/3 area. Why so? Because economics is a kind of subject which has a lot of current orientation. We shall see the syllabus also today. In syllabus or the questions that have been asked, they are asked based on the things which are happening in the news. So if I teach you something, I cannot teach you what is going to happen next month or next year. So if something in the news comes related to this topic, which was taught to you in the class, for example, I teach you GDP. And then tomorrow there is a debate about GDP, that the method of calculating the GDP is wrong, or the government decides to change the method. So this change you have to study on your own from the newspaper, and then you have to write it down in the place where we have studied GDP. Because the question which is likely to be asked is, what is this change? You cannot study this change until you have studied what was before, which we are going to teach you in the class. Neither you can answer it without mentioning this current affair part. And if you write these two things, I mean, most of the people, what they do, they make a separate copy of current affair, and they will write all the current affair in that separate copy. This process is faulty, because your learning would never be cohesive. The cohesive learning can happen only if all the related things are together. Normally, as a student also, we learn this way. First, we already have this set of knowledge. What we do is we add another layer to this. So we remember those things first, which we already know, or which are related to something which we already know. And then we keep on adding the layers. So if you keep on adding those current affairs to the topics which are there in your notes, it would be easy for you to memorize, and most likely the question would also be asked by mingling these two things, something which is in static and something which is in current affair. Furthermore, it may also happen that I teach you something and I may leave something because it is not very important. Next time, it may happen that something came in news because of which it has become important, right? So you can learn it from some test series. What we would do is we would put it in the test series. So in test series, you will get some additional information. That additional information should also be put in the respective chapter. So that's why I am saying you should keep this 1/3 page blank. It may remain blank for quite some time. It may get filled over a period of time. Next thing is you should use at least 2 color pen. This is very obvious thing that I am teaching to you, or maybe your earlier teacher might have already taught you. But this is important because by the time you complete your GS syllabus, you will have say 7, 8, 9 a notebook of your class notes. Now, exam, how exam happens? In 2 days, all the 4 papers are asked. So there you must have some mechanism to revise it in a small period of time. And that can be done if you have written certain things which are important in different color. So maybe some blue and red combination or some other combination, whatever you like, you can use it. Something like red color to be used for writing headlines, and then blue color for the rest of the thing. The third thing I would say you should use highlighter. See, for example, I just discussed with you the story of tomato. What happened, tomato is produced, then it is distributed. Some of you might have noted it down as well. It can happen in the next class as well, that some examples we will note it down, but those examples are going to be sticking in your mind forever. You need not revise them. But the definition of economics that I just gave, that you have written, it will take some time for you to remember that definition. It is not going to happen that you are going to memorize it now only. So those things which will take time for you to stick in your memory, you should highlight those things. And those things that you consider, like those things which are stressed more by the teacher in the class, those things which are there in the class, which are there in the NCERT as well, which are asked in the test series as well. So those are naturally things which are more important. Those things on which UPSC has already asked question. I will tell you in the class as well that on this, the question has already been asked. So you should highlight certain important things so that whenever you do revision, you definitely revise these things. Sometimes you will not have enough time to revise each word. So it would be handy if you have already marked what is more important, what is less important. What is unimportant, we are not going to teach you, or you are not supposed to write that in your notes either. One more thing, what will happen, or like my way of teaching is, I will keep on correlating one thing with another. For example, we have just studied tomato. Like I can sometime tell you that, see, there was rust in tomato crop. Because of this, there was reduction in production. When there was reduction in production, the supply reduced. When there was reduction in supply, it led to inflation. And inflation led to some other thing like black marketing. You a smart fellow will start doing like this. So most of the concept in economics are correlated with each other. And I would use this flowchart mechanism to correlate these things. And I would request you to note them in this format itself. If you write answer in this manner, or if you are able to analyze this correlation on your own, that is the time when you should start giving assurance to yourself that you have started understanding economics. Economics is about making correlation. Everything is correlated to everything else. If black marketing is happening more because somewhere crop has failed, or sometimes the reason could be something else, because there could be a variety of reasons, and these two are not correlated. Black marketing might be happening in Delhi and the crop might have failed in Bengaluru or some rural area of Bengaluru. Okay, so this correlation you should be able to establish on your own as the course progresses. Okay. Sometimes I may make diagrams, or sometimes you may find diagrams in the news. If it is a kind of diagram like easier one, something like this, or some not very complicated, not very colorful, some sketchy diagram, you must note it down in your class note, because diagrams fetch marks in the exam, and only those diagram you would be able to make in the actual answer sheet in UPSC paper, which are there in your class notes, because there you do not get so much of time to think something innovative on the spot. You are able to think those things which are there in your notes. So that's why you should have this practice of jotting down diagrams. In economics, other than diagrams, we get a lot of graphs. For example, you might see a graph that GDP has gone up, then gone down, then gone up. GDP growth rate. With यहाँ पे on x-axis year. Something of this kind you will come across on daily basis. Something we will teach in the class as well. Something you will read in newspaper as well. You should have the habit of collecting these graphs or diagrams which are relevant to our paper. Which are relevant means which are the things which we will teach in the class. So these graphs you should note down in your class notes in respective topic only. Like if there is a graph on GDP, it should be made in the notes where GDP notes are there. It's not that you are making a separate copy of graph, making a separate copy of diagram. That is not going to be fruitful. Okay. And the last thing is, at the end of every chapter, for example, if I start the chapter of national income accounting, in which we will be reading GDP, I will definitely let you know that now we have completed this chapter. We shall start the next chapter. So at the end of every chapter, what you have to do is make a data page. What is this data page? See, economics is nothing without data. Like you might have studied today's newspaper or any newspaper, any economic article. If something is there, someone is saying that inflation is there, and if someone comes and say that inflation has reached 10% mark, which of the two statement you are going to appreciate more? If you are an examiner, tell me. Someone is just saying that there is inflation, and someone is saying that there is inflation which is in double digit. Definitely second. If you are yourself an examiner, you will appreciate someone who has backed his assertion with the data. Right? So in economics, you should collect data. Few data set we shall provide you in the class as well. And a lot many data you will have to collect on your own from newspaper. So you should have this, like before becoming the district collector, you have to become data collector. First, collect a lot of data, back your answer with the data. Then your answer would be creating an impression that examiner cannot hold, like he will give 50-60% of the marks in any answer. Okay? So the best thing to do is, after the completion of every topic, make a data page. On that one page, compile all the data of that topic. After that, leave the rest of the page blank. In next 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, or maybe 2 year time, you will come across a lot many more data on that topic and keep noting them in respective data pages. GDP data should come in the topic of GDP. Inflation data should come in the topic of inflation. Here, I would give you a caveat. There are a few data which come every 15 days, every fortnightly, every month, maybe every quarter. Those data are not likely to be asked in the exam, and you are not likely to use them until unless they are exceptional in last decade or last century. For example, if I like, how many of you are watching ICC Cricket World Cup? Rather, I should have asked other way around. How many of you are not watching Cricket World Cup? Okay, so yesterday Virat Kohli has made the 49th century. Like he has become a player who has made maximum number of centuries in one day international. Now, this is a data which is unique. This is something that should come in your copy if Virat Kohli is in the syllabus, if cricket is in the syllabus. Okay. But before that also, Virat Kohli has made 48 centuries. Yeah, 1 week ago also, he has made a century against Bangladesh. Those centuries were not unique. They were just another number. And that you need not note down. Okay. For example, inflation data will come every month. You need not note now the inflation is 7%. Last month it was 6.8%. Then it has become 6.4%. What you should note is when inflation became exceptionally high, which was at the highest level in last decade, exceptionally low. Like for the first time, it has gone in the negative territory. So only those exceptional data you have to note down. Am I clear on this point? Every month, Sahil. Okay. This knack you will develop in a few months' time. When you are you reading newspaper on daily basis? If someone is not reading, please let me know your reason for not reading newspaper, or like what is the alternative way of covering current affair for you. Reading, right? You will not be definitely understanding, especially the economics items. Now, after the completion of this course, you will be able to understand daily the Hindu. It doesn't matter whether you are reading Sahil physical or digital, both have the same content. What's important is whether you are making notes or not. How many of you are making notes? Daily basis. Himanshu is making. Someone is saying that may I substitute with someone is Pooja is not making. Some important points Pooja is noting, that's good. Raj Pandey is not noting. So those who are not noting, you are effectively wasting 95% of your effort. If you are making 1 hour of effort in reading newspaper, 95% of it is going to be wasted, because you are not going to remember anything after 1 year when the exam is due. Exam is not going to happen tomorrow. It is going to happen. Prelims may happen in May 2024. Mains will happen 4 months later. By that point of time, you will not remember anything. So during UPSC preparation, something which is not noted is not worth reading. If you do not have time to note down, simply ignore it. Don't read. Don't waste time. Chakradhar is saying that attempt is 2025. Chakradhar, okay, you can start noting down from 1st of January. At least 1.5 years of current affair you should have notes of. So it is important to make notes also. We will cover how you should make notes vis-a-vis as far as economics is concerned in subsequent slides. Let's move forward. There are these two terms that you might have come across. One is economics. We have already written definition, but most of the time, most of the people would be talking about whether you have read economy or not. What is this economy? Is it same as economics, or there is some difference between the two terms? They are different. So what is the different? What is that difference? Okay, so many of you are saying that they are reading some daily compilation, so that's why they're not making notes. I hope you are highlighting the important things from those compilation. No, it is not a branch of economics. Economy means the study of economics. Practical study of economics. Yeah, Nandini, you are somewhat correct. The economy refers to the actual functioning and behavior of economic activity in a specific region or a country. Like we have studied economics, in that we shall study various theory, how people are deciding prices in the market, how people's behavior is there in the market, how collectively people, I mean, sometimes it so happen that people are running mad after the Apple iPhone. Like Apple iPhone, which is so costly, still people stand in a queue when a new iPhone is launched. Whereas someone is giving phones, Micromax is giving phone for free, or like for 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, and still no one is buying Macromax. Why? Why this behavior? So these are theoretical aspect. When we look at the practical example of these behavior in a specific region or country, this would be known as economy. And fortunately, we do not have to study those theoretical aspects. We only have to study the practical aspect. And even in that practical aspect, we have to only study India's economy. Our syllabus is only limited to India's economy. We need not worry about the economy of USA, other European countries, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Even Pakistanis are not worried about their economy, so why should we worry about them? Okay. So let me tell you something about our economy. It is the 5th largest economy in the world, but our country is 7th in terms of area, 2.4% of total area. And we are now first in terms of population. We have 17% of world population, whereas we only have 2.4% of total area. So definitely there is a mismatch between the share of total geographical area that our country has and the share of total population. These two things are not directly correlated with the economics. This is the economic angle, but it was written. I mean, this is something that I thought you should be knowing, because demography or social indicators also we should be studying. So some facts like this you should remember. Some of you have already studied economics, and they are suggesting that, sir, India is third largest economy in terms of PPP. Now few people will say, what is PPP? So just note it down: purchasing power parity. PPP means purchasing power parity. Again, someone will ask, what is purchasing power parity? Then I would say we shall study it in the chapter of foreign exchange. So for the time being, just write it down that India is third largest economy when we measure it in terms of purchasing power parity. What is purchasing power parity? Would be studied in exchange rate chapter. How many sessions may going to happen for economics? As many as you want, till the time you are completely satisfied that you are now learned person in the field of economics. I will keep on teaching you, जब तक बस ना बोल दो. चलेगा? Okay, on the serious note, there would be approximately 80 hours of classes. So let's move forward. All those things of economics can be categorized into two different branches. One is microeconomics, another is macroeconomics. As you must have guessed by the name, micro means chota, small, very small. Macro means something bada, bigger picture. So in terms of economy, if you like the scale, if we are talking something at national scale, at the scale of India, like inflation in India, then it is a subject matter of macroeconomy. But if I am talking at individual level, that yesterday I was selling potato at rupees 20 per kg, today I am I have decided to sell potato at the rate of 25 per kg. How I have taken this decision. So these are decisions at the individual level or at the level of the firm, company, whichever company is producing something or selling something, why that company has decided to increase the prices, why it has decided to reduce the prices, why it has decided to increase the production. Okay. So for example, many of you might have a deep interest in cars. Anyone? So he or she must have a list. Like see, earlier Mahindra was making SUVs. Now Mahindra is not, I mean, not the leading player of SUVs. It was first captured by Hyundai. Then it is now being captured by Maruti Suzuki. So these are the decisions of various firms. Okay. Okay. I am talking about this. I am a small player, na? So I am talking about the small Indian brands. Few people are talking about the Porsche, Mercedes. So these people will join foreign services most likely. Good. So these are the things which are related to individuals and firms. Fortunately, this is also not part of our syllabus. What is part of our syllabus is macroeconomics, which is a study of aggregate overall in at the national level, at the level of the Indian economy, we shall be studying. So when we talk of aggregate, I mean, when we talk of demand, we will not talk about the individual demand. We would only talk about the demand at the national level. When we talk about the production of rice, we would talk at the national level that in India, the production of rice has increased this year. What was the reason? Because there was a good monsoon, there was bad monsoon, because the government gave subsidy or the government did not give subsidy. Whatever happens at the national level would our matter of concern. We would not be concerned at an individual level, like so and so company has increased the production of so and so things. These are the things in microeconomics. We would not be worried about that. Okay. Like GDP, inflation, unemployment rate, fiscal policy, government spending and taxation, monetary policy, all these things are our subject matter. Yeah, Sahil is saying Black Scorpio is best. Okay, Sahil, we shall discuss it in some other classes. Okay, one request. I mean, I have been told to take classes in English only. So someone is from Tamil Nadu and saying that please take classes in English only. So this is the instruction I have got, that this is an English batch and I have to take classes in Hindi only. And because of taking classes in Hindi, sometimes I may not be able to crack some jokes. Sometimes it happens that I laugh from inside, but the students don't laugh. But we will bear with it. Have you noted down? Please note down soon, quickly. If at any point of time you do not get anything, like I explained something that you were not able to understand, feel free to ask the doubt. Mention in the chat that I have a doubt, or you can raise your hand as well. I will repeat them. Okay, now before moving things, like at the macro level, I have told you that microeconomics is not our in our syllabus. Macroeconomics isn't part of the syllabus. But as a serious aspirant, most of you might already have taken a printout of the syllabus and stick it on the wall of your study room. If you have not done, do it today. Because syllabus must be at your tip. Even at 2 a.m. in the morning, if someone wakes you up and asks anything, whether this is in syllabus or not, you should be able to recall it. Okay. And when we look at the syllabus of economics in prelims, this is the simple syllabus which they have mentioned. They are saying that economic and social development, and they have explained it that we would be asking questions from sustainable development. See, Development, you might already be understanding little bit, if not completely. Sustainable development is when we are developing in a manner that we are also taking care of environment and biodiversity. Do not note down these definitions. Just write down on in your own words, because these are not accurate definition. So if someone looks at this definition, he will say that your teacher is teaching rubbish. Okay. So these are simply the definition for basic understanding. We would be reading all these things and we would be taking down accurate to the point definitions. For the timing, just understand sustainable development is when we are developing in a manner that is in consistence with environmental aspect as well. Then poverty, simple garibi. Inclusion means like when development is happening, whether only Ambani and Adani is developing, or it is also people, poor people like Madhusudan Sarma who is also developing. If both are developing, it is inclusive development. There is inclusion of everyone. Sabka saath, sabka vikas. Yes, you are right. But if only farmer is developing, not farmer, farmer, Mr. Double A, then that is not a inclusive. That is exclusive development, in which most of people are excluded. Then next is demographics. Demographics relate to population. So they are going to ask questions about population. That's why I had included data about demographics in the last slide. Then they are saying social sector initiatives. They have specifically written initiative. Initiatives means either schemes of the government or some legislation, means Kanun, Act. So they are going to ask questions about them. But this is not the complete syllabus. They have not limited their questionnaire to these things only, because they probably what this explanation what they have provided is only the explanation of this social development. Social development would include sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, these aspects. And economics, they are simply written one word, economic. And now they have left up to the students to understand what is there to be studied in economics. So how are we going to know what to study? The next source of information is previous year questions. This is again something that you must be doing on regular basis. PYQs are very important. Every subject that you have already studied, you must go and solve the previous year question of at least 13 years since syllabus had changed. Okay, after 2011, you must solve all those previous year questions. So based on these previous year questions, I have listed down the element of syllabus for you people. This is something that I would share with you people. It would be difficult for you to note down everything, so just listen. I will share it with you, this PDF file. There are certain basics of economy related basic concept like human resource development, social aspect or social development aspect, type of employment, economy, market competition, these things. They are asked by UPSC. Then they ask concept related to fiscal policy and government budgeting. In this includes national income, GDP, GNP, budget, taxation, 5-year plans. Then they ask questions from monetary policy. Monetary policy is the policy related to the supply of money. And then if supply of money and inflation related questions. Obviously, if supply of money, sometimes everything supply should be remain in control. So there is some policy which is to be formulated by RBI to keep money supply and control, that is known as monetary policy. We shall study dedicatedly 2-3 classes would happen on monetary policy. Then banking. See, banking has become very important topic in last decade because the government has taken a lot of effort in increasing the cashless economy. Okay. They did something very big. Can you recall that? For improving the cashless transaction. UPI, even bigger than UPI. Maybe you were in a school days at that point of time. Demonetization. They simply demonetize the 1,000 rupees and 500 rupees note, so that there is increase in cashless transaction. We shall be studying in one of the chapters about this demonetization as well. What was the objective? What was done? Because it might have happened before many of you had started giving serious thought about UPSC. Then finance and investment, FDI, FII, this is something that you must have read in the news. Money market, capital market. Then external sector, balance of payment, trade, import, export. This is the favorite business in childhood. You might have seen in the movies. Hero used to say, "What are you doing?" So I have an import-export business. What is imported and exported? They do not tell it. So we would study why we import something, why we export something. Then this is all that is the syllabus of prelims. Okay, in prelims they restrict themselves to do these conceptual things only. In mains the syllabus had something more as well. Like these are the growth development planning we have in prelims as well. Inclusive development we have in prelims as well. Government budgeting, this is in prelims as well. So let me write down as well what is there in prelims. Planning, mobilization of resources, employment growth, this is common with prelims. This is also common with prelims. Government budgeting, common with prelims. This is land reforms is something which is exclusively in mains. This is not in prelims. Effect of liberalization on economy, this is also in mains. Changes in industrial policy, this is also something which is exclusively in mains. Industrial growth, mains. Infrastructure, mains. Investment models, mains. So these are the topics which are exclusively in the mains syllabus. In mains, economy is in GS3. Okay. Whereas these are the topics which are there in both prelims and mains. And majority of our time would be devoted in these topics only, which are common in prelims as well as mains. So our mode of studying would be that we shall be studying these prelims as well as mains topic together. Okay, we would not be bifurcating that first we are studying for the prelims and then we are studying again for the mains. Rather, when we shall pick a topic, we shall study its prelims related aspect and we shall also study the mains related aspect. To differentiate between what can be asked in prelims and mains, I would give a hint during the class. And also we shall be providing you some practice questions, MCQ based question on certain aspect and some subjective questions. So this will give you an idea that such kind of question can be asked in mains and this kind of question can be asked in prelims. Okay. Then in economics syllabus itself, in GS3, they have also included some specific topic on agriculture. And this is something which will be taught together by the economics teacher and geography teacher. Because some aspect of it is the domain of geography. For example, major crops and cropping pattern in different regions. This is a geography related aspect. I'm not sure whether it has already been taught to you, but it would be taught by geography teacher. Then types of irrigation and irrigation system storage. It is also an aspect of geography. Then transport and marketing of agriculture produce. See, marketing में पैसा involved है, money is involved over here. So this is something wherever money comes, it is the aspect of economy. Money is my domain. Then e-technology and ad of farmers. This is ideally something which should be taught by S&T teachers. So when they shall be talking about the drone technology and various of the technology, nanotechnology, biotechnology, in each of these technologies, they shall be talking, giving you their application in the field of agriculture. From there only, you will be studying this e-technology in the ad of farmers. Then issues in direct and indirect farm subsidies. This is something which is a subject domain of economics. MSP is subject domain of economics. See, subsidy you must be knowing. Government gives subsidy on petroleum products. On LPG you get subsidy. This is minimum support price. This is the price at which government buys food produce from the farmers. MSP. If you do not know it already, don't worry about it. We shall study each of these topics. Then public distribution system, PDS. You people might already be getting some food grain from there. At I mean rice at the rupees 3 kg per kg, wheat at the rate 2 rupees 2 per kg. So these are the PDS shop, also known as fair price shop. So this is also a subject matter of economics. Buffer stock, subject matter of economics. Technology mission is a small topic. It might be covered by economics teacher or science and tech. Either of the two will be teaching it. Food processing, again, domain of economics. So the agriculture is a kind of mixed syllabus they have made, UPSC has made, mixing geography, economy, science and tech all together. Effectively, they want you to understand in detail the issue of farmer in our country. Can you tell me why so much of importance to agriculture? What is so special about agriculture? Anyone? Food security, yes, very valid point, Sudhakaran. Anything else? Primary sector, Sachin, तो मतलब what is so important? नहीं, प्राइमरी प्राइमरी का मतलब फर्स्ट से है वहां पे, प्राइमरी जो है वो backbone of economy, provides raw material for the economy, you may say. Yes, you are right. Anything more else? Yes, this is something important. It went up in the chat. I will find his name. Yeah, Simran has said it right. More than 50% population still depends on agriculture. So when you become IAS officer, that's your primary duty. That you should be serving that population which is in need, which is in poverty. Okay, so you must understand how that population is living, what is the plight of that population. Okay, so that's why agriculture related topics are given so much in detail in our syllabus. And every year, questions are asked from these topics. Approximately 4 questions are there from agriculture and 4 questions are there from other aspect of economics. There are 8 questions in mains paper from economics. Okay. Is it clear? Any doubt? बाकी जो आप लोग कह रहे हो ना कि it provides input to the industry sector, few people are saying कि it is not clear. अच्छा, there is no doubt. So either I would share you towards your group or you can join my Telegram channel. I will share this syllabus at my channel as well. So you can get it from there as well also. Clear? Chalo. Let's come back to our PPT. So this is the syllabus. You must memorize the syllabus. At the end of the class, I will provide you the channel name and ID. अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं. In next class, I will ask how many of you have taken printout of the syllabus and pasted it on the wall of your study room. This is very important. Now we shall come to how to read newspaper. And then usually I say that every student should do this ATNN on daily basis. I will start from last. N stands for newspaper. And this next N stands for notes making of the newspaper. These are two things which are regarding your personality development. A is for affirmations. Does anyone of you know what is affirmation? T is thanksgiving. Manifestation, positive thinking, yes. So I will briefly tell you about this because this is outside the subject matter of today's class. Affirmation every day in the morning when you wake up, you should tell yourself the things that you want to be. For example, say if you have this limitation that you are not punctual, or if you say that you lie a lot, everyone might be having the different issues with themselves. So you should wake up in the morning and the first thing that you should do is tell the opposite to yourself that I am a person who is always punctual. I am the person who always tell the truth. I am the person who always raise voice for the right. Whatever be the issue with you, I am the one who has good handwriting. In case you have bad handwriting, then to say the opposite. So the kind of trait, the personality trait that you want to be part of yourself, you should be telling yourself that you are already that kind of person. If you wake up in the morning and give guidance to your mind that you have to work in that direction, naturally the mind will keep on learning those traits, will keep on adopting those things in your personality, and one day you shall become such a person. So that's why this is something that you should do first thing in the morning. Thanksgiving is simply you should thank those people who have helped you in the day. So before going to the bed in the night, you should thank to all those people who have helped you. Someday you might take my name as well if I teach you something right, something helpful. Someday you can take name of all those people who are helping you in uh, keeping you alert. Okay. It should not be like thank you mommy, thank you papa every day. Okay, because they are definitely the best support system that you have got, but you should be in more detail on daily basis. आज के date में specifically which person has helped you, you should be thanking to those people. Then you will realize that you are not existing on your own. There is the whole society, the whole ecosystem which is responsible for your well-being, and it will never let that ego come into you. It will keep you grounded always. When you are aware that you are not because of yourself only, then you remain grounded. Otherwise, someday you start believing that जो है सो हम ही हम हैं, बाकी सब कम है. So this feeling should never come. If this feeling is there in you, you will get very poor marks in interview. Okay, and then newspaper, I cannot state it's important. I mean, I cannot state its importance in more prominent terms than I have already told you. And then you have to make notes for this. Here, I would give you some detail from the economic perspective, what to read from newspaper and what not to read. Okay. Can someone help me what to read? Yes, बहुत सही बोला किसी ने. Match with syllabus. ठीक है, तो all those topics which were there in the syllabus, if you see any news related to them, you have to study them. Okay, that's why it is very important that you remember the syllabus. Otherwise, what will happen? You will pick up the newspaper and everything would seem important to you. Because syllabus is so vast ना, सब कुछ लगता है everything under the sun is in the syllabus, and सब कुछ लगेगा कि आपको important है. You are reading everything, and if you are reading everything, the ROI will reduce because not everything is important. So you must pick and choose things as per the syllabus. Again, the things which are important from macroeconomic perspective, the things which are of national concern, like national issues. ठीक है? Sometimes some unique और exceptional state initiative भी आप पढ़ सकते हैं. I will give you an example. For example, today there was a news, I will show you as well, about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. This scheme is a national level scheme, and this is definitely important. You should study it. But Andhra Pradesh has done, Telangana has done some changes to it. They have made some changes to this scheme, and they wanted to change its name. Achha, AP only. Okay, Andhra Pradesh has made some changes to it. Now, this is not something very important because those changes are simply they are giving some top up. 100 rupees extra de do. I mean, 70,000 rupees they are giving extra. So these are not something very unique or exceptional changes that they are making. Okay, so this is not because Andhra Pradesh will make some other changes. Karnataka will give 20,000 more. Bihar may give 50,000 more or something like that. These are not very prominent changes. But something like caste census, Ragini is saying, this is a unique initiative which some state government has taken. This is something that you should study. So a state initiative you will study only if there is some factor of uniqueness and something exceptional is there. Otherwise, you will only restrict yourself to national issues, macroeconomic variables as per the syllabus. What not to read is more important. You don't have to read the business news. Business news means something about the shares. You will keep on getting the news like the share of Adani has gone up, then share of Adani will go down, and so on. Let that happen. That's none of our business. Then you will individual company related news. The example that I have already given, that Mahindra has decided to launch the new variant of Thar. Let Mahindra launch. We do not have money enough to buy the Thar. When we will have money, we will consider it. Okay, after becoming IS. So those individual farms related issues, the share market related news, this is something that you do not have to study. And the business page is mostly filled up with these kind of news only. The economy or macroeconomy related news would be mostly at the national page. So national page is more important than the business page. So first you should read the national page, then you should go to business page if you have time left. या निफ्टी, एनएसई, बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज, ये सब शेयर मार्केट रिलेटेड न्यूज हैं. These are not important. They would be important only if there is something unique that has happened. For example, sometimes you may get a news that share market is at its highest level. What is that highest level? We would study why it has gone to that highest level, because that would be something because of the macroeconomic variable when it has at the lowest level. But on daily basis, it will go up by 400 point, it will go down by 500 point. There would be picture of some broker holding his head and something like that. Let that be. That's none of our concern. That was his money. He lost it. Some other day, he will gain it as well. That's what I'm saying. Only when something unique happens, Kunal, then you have to study. Otherwise, see, one more thing is there. There is something called 80-20 rule. Does anyone know it? Yeah, Danish knows it. Anyone else? Would anyone take the pain to explain it? Not share related. 80-20 rule says that 80% of the question are asked from 20% of the syllabus. 80% question are asked from 20% of the syllabus. The natural corollary of this rule is that rest 20% of the question would be asked from rest 80% of the syllabus. So which part of the syllabus has more ROI? Whether this 20% or this 80%? The first 20%. So you should run after, in my advice, you should only run after this 20% of the syllabus. There would be a few questions in 1 decade or so point of time which would come from this 80% of the syllabus. But if you keep running after them, you will not be able to master this part of the syllabus. So you will miss on this 80% of the question. Okay. So in all the advice that I will be giving in the classes, I will keep this rule in mind, that which part of the syllabus get question almost every year or every alternate year. You should focus more on that part. If some part of the syllabus gets question once in a decade, once in say 7 year, 8 year, that part is best left untouched. Or you may study it, that if some basic question is there, I will be able to answer it. That's why I'm saying, if you study the exceptional thing, whenever something exceptional will happen in the share market, then only a study, and that would be covered in the editorial page. You need not cover the share market on daily basis. Okay. This is one economy related aspect which is important. Baki, again, same rule, a state related, a state or regional news, you do not have to study. ठीक है. क्रिप्टो, हाँ, एक और भी चीज है, व्हाट टू रीड में एनी स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज, ये आपको जरूर पढ़ना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, when UPI came, it was a structural change in the way we were transacting. ठीक है, अभी तक हम लोग गांधी जी को लेकर के घूम रहे थे, अब हम मोबाइल लेकर के घूम रहे हैं. So the way we were working in the economy, that has undergone a change. So this is something, anything that happened, like for example, cryptocurrency also had similar potential once upon a time, but that has not yet materialized. Now central bank digital currency is coming. So those are the things which you should pay attention. ठीक है. I will also show you today's newspaper. What are the things that you should have studied? From economic perspective, of course, I am only telling you. For example, this is one scheme. We have already seen that schemes are something that we should study. Okay, एक aspect और रह गया, how to make notes. Look, only reading newspaper is not enough. You have to make notes. Then we shall come to the newspaper again. How to make notes. So the first thing is, the notes should be made topic wise. Topic wise in the sense, for example, say like tomato inflation came in the news. So your topic is tomato inflation. Right, this is a topic. For example, 1 week or 2 week, every day there would be some article on it. What you should do is, the next thing that I would suggest you is that you should make notes on A4 sheets. I will tell you the benefits. Or alternatively, some software like Evernote or OneNote. These are the software that allows you to make notes. I will tell you the benefits as well, why I am suggesting this. So when you decided that tomato inflation is something which is in news and this is an important topic on which a question can be asked, you will take out a A4 sheet, and on this A4 sheet, you will dedicate this A4 sheet for tomato inflation. Now, on day one, you may write some data at the top that inflation in March had reached 30%. You might write some reason. You will get the first reason maybe that some rust in Karnataka. Okay. You may come across some way forward कि भाई अब inflation को अब कम कैसे कर सकते हैं? How can we tackle this inflation? So, someone might give the way forward like sprinkle the insecticide. This could be like if rust is the reason, the solution could be use insecticide or pesticide, something like that. Tomorrow, it may happen that you come across some editorial or some article where that person says that it is not the rust, rather the policy of RBI which is responsible for this inflation. Then accordingly, the solution would also be reverse this policy. The day after tomorrow, someone may come and counter this argument that not the policy of RBI, rather it is the policy of the government of India which is responsible. Then accordingly, some more suggestion will come. So all the news or all the information would not be available on this topic, would not be available on day one. You will keep on getting the information in subsequent days. The news or the topic builds up in a week or two. And every day what you have to do, you have to note about that topic in that same page. What's the benefit? The same that I have told you earlier, that all the information about tomato inflation will be collated at one particular place only. You need not run after page. Alternatively, many people, what they do, they buy a book, notebook, और उसमें वो ऊपर लिखते हैं डेट. ठीक है, लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 5/11/2023. और उन्होंने पहला यहाँ पे टोमेटो इन्फ्लेशन पे 2 लाइन लिखा, फिर दूसरा उन्होंने लिख दिया पीएम आवास योजना. देन थर्ड दे विल राइट समथिंग, आज का इनफ. देन दे विल गिव अनदर डेट 6/11/2023. Then again something like that. Maybe tomato inflation will occur at, say, after a week, 12th of November, the topic comes again. Then it may comes again on 12th of December. So your information on tomato inflation is scattered. And when you will go for the exam, you will not be able to revise all this scattered information. Either you will remember this, revise this, or revise this, and you will miss something and or other. So that's why it is important that you dedicate one particular page and jot down whenever any information on this topic comes to this place itself. After some time, finding this page becomes a bit difficult in hard copy. Here, these softwares have an advantage. They have this find feature. You can simply find where I have written tomato inflation. You will get the page of tomato inflation, and then you can write those things and you can insert things. What can happen, like you have given a space for writing down 5 regions. It may happen that in the due course of time, in 6 months or 7 months, you come across 10 regions. You might not have enough space over there. So that could be the problem in hard copy. In soft copy, you will not face these problems. This software, you can insert as many lines as it comes in the future. So that's why this, according to me, is preferable for making notes in current affair, not for the class notes. Class notes, as normally you are going. Please suggest alternative for those who had missed note making. नहीं, जो भूल गया सो छोड़ दो. I always suggest, if you have missed reading newspaper on some particular day, simply ignore that. Most of the topics, most of 80%, 90% of the things is anyway going to be covered in the next day or next to next day or something like that. Or if you have altogether missed 1 month or 2 months of reading newspaper, then you must read the monthly compilation by any reputed institute. Read the monthly compilation from any reputed institute. Anyone is good. Most of the institutes are giving good compilation these days. Okay, so this is how you should make notes. Again, there would be some topic which would be based on the things which you will study in the static part that we will be teaching in the class. For example, like say central bank digital currency. I am going to teach you in the class, but this is something which is of current orientation. This, you are certainly going to get some news on it after my classes are over. So for such kind of topics, you should add current affair in your class notes itself. Okay, so if you have already a static note for any of the topic, you should write or add current affair in that static note itself. Because if you do not go there, if you make a separate page of CBDC here, again your information is scattered. When you go to exam or say syllabus of the exam is monetary policy, you will either read this or read that. You may miss one or the another. And another benefit of this methodology as well as this methodology is that, for example, on day 1, you have written these 2 points. Day 2, you have come to write the 3rd point. Naturally, it is human that when you will be writing the 3rd point, you will also read these 2 points. That, yeah, I have already written this. This is a process of continuous revision of these topics. The topic which will remain in news more often will be revised more often, and their chances of getting asked is also more. So it is a natural way of giving more importance to those topics which have higher chances of being asked in the exam. And this way you will not have to memorize them. It will be automatically go into your memory because it will be revised so many times. Even this data that you will write, this will be revised so many times that you will not have to mug up them. One more benefit. See, what will happen that after some point of time, you would have jotted down all the points which are possible on this topic. But still someone or other will keep writing editorial on it. They are getting money for that. The Hindu has to publish something. So if something comes, you read that editorial, you mark the important points, you come to your notes and you see that already all the 5 points are there in my notes. You need not make any note out of that. But if you are following this methodology, date-wise, you will end up writing all those things. So you will keep on repeating those things. आपका नोट बल्कि होता जाएगा, इतना मोटा सा, इतना मोटा हो गया. You will never revise that and it would be of no use. Okay, it would not be apt for me to suggest any compilation. You can connect with me personally. In the class, I'm not going to take any names. Okay, I leave it to your judgment. So that's it. That's all about the note making. If you have any doubt about the note making, please ask. Books, I would suggest you that the class notes along with NCERT and current affairs. These 3 sources are sufficient as far as economics is concerned. Okay, so focus on class notes by economic NCERT and then current affair. Keep updating from the current affairs. NCERT 12th macroeconomy is the one NCERT. Micro need not buy, or you can buy it, because micro we shall be covering the important things which are there in the NCERT in 1 or 2 lecture itself. And the next lecture or 2 lecture we will take in studying the microeconomics, and that's all which are there in the syllabus microeconomics. So the more focus would be on macroeconomy aspect, and then India's economic development, the 11th NCERT. That is also a good from our exam point of view. So these are the 2 NCERT which we shall be covering extensively. Apart from that, some newspaper related content we shall be giving covering in the class, and that would be sufficient. Update them with the current affair and you are done. Tamil Nadu, Ramesh Singh, I do not recommend. I do not find that book useful. That book is outdated. A lot of garbage is there. And see, if something has a lot of useless stuff along with the useful stuff, the usefulness of that stuff is lost. It may happen that you are stuck in those useless things, and you will say, "Yaar, economics समझ में नहीं आ रही है, so difficult subject," and it is not relevant either. ठीक है? I have not gone through this IGNOU material, so I cannot comment on that. चलो. Rosni has college students, so can able to take classes daily. You can suggest notes or book of any institution. Rosni, I would suggest you to watch the recording of these classes. As I have already told you, there is no good standard book in terms of economy. Like in the polity, we have Lakshmikant. There is very good book, and I mean there is no book better than that. In economy, unfortunately, there is no such book as of now. So you will have to do with this notes of the class teacher. Trust the teacher. That's all that I can advise you. So let's come to this part. What was there in today's newspaper? See, is this important? PM Khadge lead Mizoram poll campaign? No, because this is a political news. This is something which is important. Important from 2 perspectives. One perspective is that of center-state relation, which is in the polity. Because the centrally sponsored schemes are one issue which has always been a point of contention. And in my opinion, personally, if you ask me, what this Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister has done is absolutely right. Because if Andhra Pradesh government is also giving 40% of the money in all the central sponsored scheme, the state government has to contribute. So definitely they should have some space in advertisement and marketing as well, in nomenclature as well. These are things which are important, but not from economic perspective. So we shall be covering the economic issues. Then you should not read this city chapter, city pages. You should skip this city pages. Even if sometimes there might be 1 or 2 important news, but then again ROI is very, very poor. So we should be skipping this city, state, all these pages altogether. I'm not saying that at no point of time there would be something relevant. Until unless you are a big fan or you have an ambition of joining politics, you should skip this advertisement as well. You can read some of these advertisement, not read, rather you should have something in mind, because these are the schemes on which our national government is focusing. So these are the flagship scheme. You should study these schemes in detail. You should straight away go to the editorial. And I always say that these 2 editorial on the left hand side in Hindu newspaper are simply gold. They are the best thing. I mean, they have a very balanced judgment. They cover any topic holistically. Okay. So tell me if someone has read this news article, revenue rebound. If you have studied, please tell me. Because I am going to take this example. What should you note from this and what should you not note? So maybe because we have not studied GST or fiscal policy, many of you might not be able to appreciate this article. There is no issues. But if you have studied and if you are able to appreciate, then take some point of advice from me. See, they are at the beginning of the article only. Those who have not read this article, go after the class and read this article, and then you will be able to appreciate it. The article is about October month's GST collection marks a shift from some recent trend. That in October months there is abundance of GST collection. So the government is saying that, see, there is high GST collection. GST क्या है? The taxes on goods and services, or goods and services represents the GDP. So if there is more GST collection, it implies that there was more sale of goods and services. There was more production of goods and services. It means our economy is also growing. So government is saying with the GST data that, see, because the GST data is all-time high in October, the collection is second highest monthly tally in the GST history. This is something unique. Okay, so this warrant our attention. So if we have second highest monthly collection, the government is saying that, see, it means it simply indicates that our economy is doing very good. This editorial is countering that point of view. It is saying that GST collection is not only because of the more sale of goods and services, but there are other factors as well. Okay, so how you should make notes, I will tell you. First, you will write the fact. Fact kya hai? That the GST collection is at all-time high. See, it might happen that there would be some data that GST collection has increased by 10%, 15%. Every month there would be some data. That is not important. Since it's an all-time high, it is having some importance. Okay. You may note down this number. It is reached 1.72 lakh crore. But it is important only till we have not collected more GST in some other month. Most likely in future there would be some month where collection would even surpass this. Okay. Now they are saying here in this article, so what you will write is, you will give an heading. You will give a heading. First you will write the data. GST collection kitna hua. Then you will give an heading. What is the reason for higher collection? ठीक है. पहला गवर्नमेंट ये कह रही है कि इकोनॉमी इज ग्रोइंग. दूसरा जो हिंदू कह रहा है, हिंदू ये कह रहा है कि इन सितंबर there is increase in consumption. This is something that government is saying because of the onset of festive season. अमेजन का सेल आया. अमेजन का सेल में लोगों ने बहुत खरीदारी करी है. Since people have bought a lot, the government has earned revenue, and this is a good sign. If people are buying a lot of goods and services, this is good for economy. We would tell you many such myths that your parents have been telling you since your childhood, that you should save things. I would tell you that you should consume more and more things. That is how you can be more nationalist person. That is how you can serve the economy. You might have seen after COVID also that these people, these who consume alcohol, they are the one who are the most patriotic. They are supporting the economy. So economic has a different point of perspective on various such issues. Then experts believe the revenue department continuing crackdown on non-compliant and a September 30 deadline for settling any dispute is the reason. रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट ने क्या कहा कि अगर जीएसटी जब से शुरू हुआ है, कोई भी डिस्प्यूट है आपके पास, तो आप उस डिस्प्यूट को ले आइए और सितंबर 30 से पहले निपटा दीजिए, हम आपकी बात मान लेंगे. आपको you will not have to pay any interest. For example, if GST department is saying that you have not paid the GST of 1 crore rupees, it is not only 1 crore that you will pay next year. You will also pay the 18% penalty on that 1 crore. 1 crore 18 lakh. If you again do not pay next year, you will pay 18% more on that 1 crore 18 lakh. Okay. So every year the amount gets on accumulating. So the GST revenue department said that we will leave all those accumulated interest payment. You only pay the 1 crore rupees and we will settle down the account if you settle it before September 30. So because of this scheme of government, there was higher GST collection. It is not that the consumption has increased. You were setting a deadline, so many people have said that let's not go to the court and let's not get into the litigation. So this is the reasoning that they are giving. This is the counter opinion. Now, in the future also, government is planning another such schemes are known as amnesty scheme. ठीक है, amnesty मतलब आप शांति कर रहे हैं, समझौता कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. So another such amnesty scheme is being adopted by government. So the last line of this editorial is saying that anyone who is tracking the trajectory of GST as a high frequency indicator to assess the economy's growth prospect must not lose sight of such factor. बड़ा लंबा सा सेंटेंस है, ठीक है. ये सिंपली ये कह रहे हैं कि if someone is tracking GST as an indicator for economic growth, he must not lose sight of such other factor like amnesty scheme that can boost the GST collection even though economy is not growing, even though the consumption is not rising. This is the conclusion that this editorial is giving. So only these 2-3 lines are important from this editorial. Not all the lines should come from this editorial to your notes. Maybe tomorrow government can counter this view. Government can say that because of the amnesty, we have only got 1% of the total revenue in October. Something more data can come tomorrow. Then you will also note it down at the same place in the same A4 paper. Is it clear now? ठीक है. So आज की क्लास में we shall cover these things only. Please repeat last point. Last point I said, Nitish, that tomorrow the government can come up with some other counter argument to the view which has been written in the Hindu. Okay, so you should note that counterpoint as well. So you should keep on noting all the discussion and debate and all the arguments that will come on this topic in subsequent days at the same places in your A4 sheet. You will dedicate one A4 sheet to GST collection, GST collection at the highest level. This is the topic that we have chosen. You will write all the points at the same place. For the next class, I would simply give you one like assignment kind of thing. Like you should revise the percentage thing. You must have studied all of you because in economics, what we shall be doing it, we shall be deriving some formulae. We shall be talking in terms of numbers. Like today also in the class, I have told you 10% inflation or something like that. So you should be having crystal clarity when I say this number. It should not be something vague in your minds. That's why I would suggest those, especially who do not have math background, simply go on YouTube or on internet somewhere, solve 1 or 2 percentage problem. Math वालों को हो सकता है issue ना हो, they might not have any issue. Non-math background people must do this 1 or 2 watch videos on how profit and loss is calculated. Simple इतना ही कि percentage profit, how is it calculated? Percentage loss, what is the meaning of percentage loss? Percentage profit, how is it calculated? How does percentage work? How does interest work? What is the meaning of interest? What is the meaning of compound interest? This will help. Danish is suggesting that this will help in CSET also. Yes, very well pointed out, Danish. It will help in CSET also. It's not that in economic classes you have to solve numericals. Numericals are never asked in UPSC. But to understand the concepts better, I would suggest to do this basic exercise. This is just a revision purpose. It's not that if you do not do it, you will not understand. You will understand. But why not understand with the full confidence? That's the agenda of my class. Okay, I will ask in the next class, how many of you have done it? There was a nephew of mine, and when I go home, I usually like being a teacher. I start teaching him as well. So I gave him an assignment. Tomorrow, I will ask you this. And the first thing he said is, what if I do not do? ठीक है. So if any one of you have the similar thought that what if you do not do, okay, and my answer is I will do nothing. You are doing something to yourself only. I need not give any punishment to you. If you do not complete any of the assignment, you are giving a self punishment. Okay, so these are the various ways through which you can connect to me: Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and email ID. If you have any doubt, you can write a mail to me. This is the quickest you can approach to me, through email. Those who are giving attempt in 2026, for you, the only change that you have to do is do not make notes of the newspaper, but keep reading newspaper and keep studying the classes. Keep solving the MCQs wherever, whenever. I mean, I shall be giving some assignment, writing the assignment, writing the answers. All those things you have to do the same way as other people are doing. Only change you have to make is do not spend time on making notes. You should prepare your optional in advance. This is the time that you are having. So do prepare your optional paper. Can we make notes in two-sided margins similar to mains answer sheet? I prefer one-sided. However, you can make in two-sided as well. There is nothing wrong in that. I prefer one-sided because it gives me more space at one side to write more number of points on any topic. That's why note making, I prefer to leave a space on one side itself. Any other doubt? Okay, then. So on this note, we shall conclude the class. See you again tomorrow, 4 p.m. And tomorrow we shall start the microeconomics. We shall look at some type of goods and all those things which you are already consuming. We shall be talking only those things. Amazing interaction. Thank you, Pragati. Telegram link is there. Madhusudan_IIT. Yes, you should make notes in the same order in which we shall be covering the topics in the class. Okay, good. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.